Discover the taste of freshness at Schoolhouse Farms. Join Vaughn Davis and Beth Cole, passionate bird watchers and friends from York County, Maine, as they transform their love for nature into a thriving business. Since 2016, they have been dedicated to growing and distributing premium sunflower kernels, oils, gourmet popcorn, and heirloom grain products like corn, flour, and grits. What do they offer? Birdseed suppliers, high-quality black oil sunflower seeds for local markets. Food retailers, a selection of sunflower oils, roasted kernels, gourmet popcorn, and heirloom cornmeal. Online shoppers enjoy gourmet popcorn and confection sunflower kernels from the comfort of your home. Floral markets, stunning sunflowers for Ohio-based florists. Distillers, specialty grains for brewing and distillation. Popcorn vendors, are you a kettle corn vendor? Talk to Vaughn or Beth about supplying your business with the lowest cost, high quality mushroom popcorn in the industry. Taste the difference. Customers can shop for delicious sunflower kernels, popcorn, flavored oils, and heirloom cornmeal and grits directly on their website or at selected retail stores and farmers markets across Ohio, Indiana, Maine, and New Hampshire. Their name pays tribute to the historic Freisinger School, built in 1862 on Davis Farms property. This one-room schoolhouse has a rich history, having served the community until 1939. Are you ready to connect? If there's an exciting opportunity to discuss, they would love to hear from you. Follow Schoolhouse Farms on Facebook today and become part of the community. This is Big Sturge with American Whiskey. If you're looking for a unique wine experience, check out Burned Out Winery. Founded by a team of siblings who turned their passion for winemaking into a thriving business. They focus on crafting exceptional small batch wines from Moscato to tart cherry and spiced apple to their delightful sangrias. There's something for everyone. Each bottle tells a story, complete with a creative name that reflects their journey. Their wines are not only fantastic, but they're also affordable, making them a great choice for any occasion. You can easily order online at burnedoutwinery.com or connect with them on Facebook. They deliver. Whether you're local or out of state, they'll ship right to your front door. Support this hardworking team and savor the taste of Burned Out Winery. This is Big Sturge with American Whiskey. They say monsters don't exist. But what if I told you they walk among us in plain sight? Imagine the chill creeping down your spine when you're alone. The unsettling sensation of eyes boring into you from the shadows. Yet, when you turn, nobody is there. Picture yourself in a crowded grocery store, heart racing, as an inexplicable dread clings to you like a dark, dark cloud. Monsters are real. This is American Whiskey, and every Friday we get together for Sip and Solve, where we dive into the bone-chilling tales that remind us of darkness lurks just beneath the surface. Finish up. Hit the American Whiskey intro real quick. Yeah, guys, we're gonna play this alongside everything. We had some technical difficulties. Oh, we're back, and we're here. We're here tonight. All right, it's been a gathering tonight. I got in a fight with Philip.
You wanted to strangle Levi? I
wanted to strangle Levi, and Dylan. Well, Dylan did the slideshow that you couldn't hear. So hopefully you enjoyed the pictures. Am I wrong? So, guys, as always, I'm Big Sturge.
I'm Justice League.
And I'm the Peanut.
We're glad you guys are here for our Sip and Solve. Every Friday we do it. We're glad to do it. It's true crime. We talk about a lot of things that need to be talked about that are hard to talk about. And a lot of you sick fucks out there just like to hear about it. So tonight we got a pretty sick one. A devastating one is what I like to call it. But grab a beer, grab a drink, grab whatever it is you sip on. Make sure you check those doors and those windows. Make sure they're locked because there's some fucking creeps out there in the world. And let's get started. All right, guys, welcome back. Like I said, we're American Whiskey. This is Friday, so it's Sip and Solve. And tonight we're going to sip on, I'm going to let you take over that part there. Levi's got a microphone tonight because Doug isn't here. So what do we got tonight, Levi? I appreciate you getting mic'd up for it.
So we have one of the Walking Dead whiskeys. And
see it right there in the middle there.
Yep. I don't know.
Well, you don't know what's going to taste like because you're not 21 yet.
Yeah,
but
of course.
What's some information that we have on there?
So the whiskey was produced by Skybound, which is actually who created the Walking Dead video games.
Really?
So it's just a little
who distilled it?
Ooh, probably them. Probably them.
Let Phil do it.
Yeah, gander at it.
I told you to find information. This is what you brought to the table.
I was dealing with things, dude.
Yeah, dealing with what?
You're trying not to have
me
strangle me.
Me fixing every fuck up you make.
Wow. Okay.
We got. It's called Skybound presents Spirits of the Apocalypse, The Walking Dead, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey,
distilled by.
It don't.
If Dylan grabs this bottle and finds it, I want him to punch you as hard as he can. Dylan, grab the bottle and take a peek. Come on, we got to get.
We're looking here.
We got a long episode tonight, and you're fucking around.
Bottled by Diego in Plainsville, Illinois.
Bottled by.
Well, and it's not saying drinkiq.com.
Give it.
It's not saying
to Dylan.
Oh, Dylan, prove us wrong.
All right.
It'll be on the back.
I'm guessing it's Skybound.
It right here. It says Alex Thompson.
Von Davis, you're sticking to you going carnivore, baby? I love it.
Say it.
He's going to look it up. So we're going to get started on the true crime episode, but we got to figure out where this is made. Von Davis, if anybody
just said it.
Is not sure. What?
I just said it. There's the fellow that did it.
I want to know the distillery.
And the distillery is the Sexton.
You pulled up like you had a fucking fact to share with us.
Is it not that, bro?
Holy. Well, that's some real shit.
Oh, nice. Matt Brown. Big time.
Yes, it is the partnership between Diego Brands and Skybound Entertainment.
All right, perfect. So who knows where it was actually fucking made?
Probably Kentucky. It's a Kentucky Straight Bourbon.
I just can't do it with these guys. Dear Heavenly Father, what did I do to deserve this? But welcome back anyways, listeners, to Sip and Solve segment of American Whiskey. I'm your host, Big Surgeon. As I said today, we've got the Peanut, we've got the Justice League, and we're going to tackle a case that's left a mark on the nation. It's a tragic story of Chris Watts.
This case is a heart-wrenching reminder of the darkness hidden behind closed doors. Chris Watts was a seemingly ordinary family man, but his actions kind of pretty much shocked everybody.
Together, we'll delve into the timeline of events, motivations, and the aftermath. And of course, we'll have some whiskey recommendations along the way. Let's get into it.
Well, while we're going to do it, let's take a little sip of what we got here. Like we said, we got the Walking Dead here. It smells like fingernail polish, remember? But might not be bad. We'll see.
I didn't know what was going on.
Did you go down to the basement? I had the basement door open.
Yeah, the door is open. But yeah,
cool.
When you guys got
that off. We're not even close to that yet.
That's wow.
I told you to do it after segment 2. where it says 25 minutes there, but it's okay.
Well,
You put it in the wrong spot, my boy.
It definitely tastes like fingernail polish.
Wow.
Remember,
Oh,
pretty hard.
that does not go down well.
No. That's
Levi
why-
was definitely paying attention earlier.
Yeah, and that's why they call it The Walking Dead.
Oh, there's nothing.
Well, if anything, at least
Take the whole shot. I did.
no way. At least the bottle looks pretty cool.
That should have stayed unopened.
Wow.
The bottle looks good though. Get a chaser. Note to self: just collect the bottles. Don't drink the.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. It's the worst liquor I've ever had. And I mean that. Terrible fucking job. Whoever made that, tag them. Terrible job. Don't ever make liquor. That's horrible.
But the bottle looked good.
Bottle looks not even cool. I'm done.
It
Don't
will.
ever show me. Oh my God.
For $20, I guess you can't expect too much.
I'd rather have Gordon Shinerman's pumpkin than that. I love you, Gordon. I seen you in there. I got to fuck with you a little bit.
Ooh, that did not go down well.
That was so bad. To be honest with you, the pumpkin went down real easy. The pumpkin went down easy. So, guys, after we just about threw up in our studio here trying this nasty ass stuff, that was terrible. But let's get serious here. I can't even fucking think, dude. That was terrible, dude.
I tell you what, but
That's terrible. His eyes are watering, dude. I throw up, his eyes water, and he doesn't know what to say. That's how you know it's so bad.
that's about as terrible as this case.
It's not. It's oh my God. That's a good. Hey, a shitty whiskey for a shitty case. Very good.
Right.
So, guys,
Well, in that case, take another sip.
now hey, it's better to take the whole shot, Philly. It really is. There's no way I could sip that.
Oh,
Do it, Philly. Do it.
Oh, that is like nail polish remover, man.
He's really worried about the pancreas. That should help.
That's going to flush out anything. I
That's gonna
promise.
flush it all out. All right, guys, we're gonna get dive back in here. Dylan's being a little lady about his whiskey tonight. He's just gonna sip it. But to be fair, I don't blame him. So, guys, to understand the gravity of this case, we're gonna have to talk about Chris Watts. This guy, honestly, I hate to use the guy's name, and I know you guys could agree with this. He's a piece of shit, but we're gonna talk about it. We got to use his name. We could let's just if you see the name Chris Watts in the script here, you got to use douchebag.
Okay.
Is that fair? Let's see if we can do it. So to understand the gravity of this case, we need to take a look at who douchebag was. He was born on May 16th, 1985 in North Carolina. Growing up, he was actually described as a really quiet fella, and he loved sports. He loved everything about it. He loved to watch it, play it, and that's kind of what he was known as growing up.
That's right. He later moved to Colorado, where he met Shannon in 2010. They had a whirlwind romance.
Talk in your microphone.
They had a whirlwind romance. Getting married just a few months after they met.
well, Peanut, thanks for joining us halfway through.
I'm still trying to get the taste of that
That's so
shit out
bad,
of my
bro.
mouth.
They had a beautiful family with their first daughter, Bella, born in 2013, and Celeste in 2015. But behind the facade of a picture-perfect family, things were not as blissful as they always appeared.
Chris, the douchebag, worked long hours in, the oil fields. It's not a great job for a family as far as being home a lot, but it is a good paying job. And, with this job came a big strain on the relationship. And Shannon, meanwhile, was deeply involved with her work and her job, Thrive. And it's a health wellness company. What I like to call these kind of things, it's kind of like the pyramid scheme jobs where you hear about like the health fitness, it's
Like Advocare.
and like an Advocare, or there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with them. It's totally fine, but she was really well known for hers. She had a lot of followers, and we're going to talk about that picture that she created for that family.
Yeah. As time went on, the douchebag became increasingly distant. He started seeing a woman named Nicole Kessinger, an affair that would later play a critical role in these tragic events.
But what's fascinating and chilling is how douchebag seemed to compartmentalize his life. He was able to maintain a facade while engaging in an affair, which speaks volumes about his mindset and his character.
And I think this is a good part here. Levi, I know we got a button there. I think I labeled it 911 call, buddy. Do you see it on there? Levi, do you know much about this case?
Not really, to be honest with you.
Okay. This 911 call is going to blow your guys' mind. It's a little lengthy, but stick in here, guys. You're going to hear Shannon's best friend on this 911 call because she knew douchebag was something was wrong. Hey, boss, you mind playing that for us?
I didn't know what was going on.
Did you go down to the basement? I thought the basement door open.
Yeah, the door is open, but yeah.
When you got down in the truck. Oh, okay. What happened? I woke back up. Okay. It felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes. But I couldn't let go. Like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you not letting go.
And that's douchebag talking. If anybody's didn't catch it yet. Was that all it was?
No.
Here we go.
Hi, Susie. My name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine.
Now, this is Shannon's best friend right here.
Right, because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and you can see there's many issues, and she's pregnant, and I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car is there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages. And I'm just really, really concerned. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it. And I don't know what to do. I called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other two daughters. But like, she went on a play date, they're both in car seats, right? She's not in the car.
Guys, you can tell she's stressed.
Yes.
I'm at the house. 2825 Saratoga Trail in Frederick. And then I said, like, Chris, can you just come home and check to make sure she's okay? Because the shoes she wears every single day. Right,
What up, Davis?
And he was like, yeah, I'll be there in 3 minutes. Well, that was 45 minutes ago. And I called him and asked him again, can you please come home? And he's like, I'm 45 minutes out. Okay. I can call him.
You can hear the stress. She
Really?
knows.
Yeah, she knows already.
25 Saratoga. It's
I believe there's an interview with her at one point where she said once she saw the car seats in the car in the garage,
She knew. Yeah.
I'm calling you from area code 970. Thank you. Okay, so tell me exactly what happened. So we were out of town for work, and we flew in last night. Her flight got delayed, and I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant, and she wasn't feeling well over the weekend, and she was very distraught and out of the sorts because her and her husband are having issues. So she was 16 because she wasn't eating or drinking and stuff like that. So then this morning I was like, let me know if you need to take you to your doctor's appointment because you're not feeling well. And I have called and texted. I've come to her house.
So you guys can kind of, that's a long 911 call. I just kind of wanted to set this, that stage of the stress that if it wasn't for her, I'm not sure how long it would have taken for people to realize.
Right.
Because it sounded like they were kind of secluded. She was really into Thrive and all that, but how long would this have really taken for people to realize? So Nicole, I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but I believe you're a hero in this case. And I think that your son and you, and the fact that you didn't just ignore your intuition, but let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about the days leading up to this tragic event and of August of 2018. The couple had been experiencing, the financial difficulties, which added a lot of stress. We've been there before, right, guys? You know what it's like to be married. Dylan, you're not married, but you've had, struggles, right? And with finances, and when you're married with somebody, it really puts a strain on the marriage.
Yeah, financial stress is probably
it's the worst.
Number one in divorces ever. On August 11th, Shannon was out of town. We were talking on a business trip to Arizona. And during that time, the douchebag was with Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
It was reported that he seemed to be living, like most of our cases, a double life.
Yeah. Yeah.
When Shannon returned home on August 13th, the tension was immense. That morning, douchebag appeared on local news, pleading for his family's safe return, but there was something unsettling about his demeanor.
Exactly. Dylan, I think he kind of hit that pretty good. And, he was calm. Not only that, he's collected. And I think this kind of strikes many people as kind of like an odd given, the circumstances, right? It's, even he said he would do anything to bring them back.
Yeah. Well,
That's a hell of a fucking statement, right?
Yeah.
That's borderline confession.
Yeah.
No shit, Dylan. But yeah.
And how many times
How do you bring
we hear someone say that?
But you don't know what happened to him, but you're doing anything to bring him back?
Exactly.
Douche.
Big time douche. Well, let's not forget about Shannon's friend. I'm horrible pronouncing names, but Nicole Atkinson.
That's great, bro. You did great.
Yeah. I mean, she deserves.
How do you know it's not Nicolay?
Well, I really don't know.
But Nicole, that's who we just heard in the 911 call.
Yeah.
That was Nicole.
And, she deserves, major kudos for, what she did.
And she became concerned, brother. I mean, that's the big thing. I think she's the one that really raises the red flags in the very get-go.
Exactly. When she couldn't reach Shannon, that was it. She was actually one who called, like you said, called the police. And when Shannon missed a very important doctor's appointment.
And when we're talking about,
obviously,
yeah, I mean, when you're pregnant,
she's pregnant, she's not eating and drinking. I mean, it's very important. And of course, she had major concern for her friend. And
especially, she wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking, she's pregnant. Like, you might let that go for a couple of days, but when you're pregnant, it's your mama instincts kick right in. Like, I got to get into a doctor. So,
and Nicole being a mother too, she's like, hey, she even offered, I know things are rough. Need someone to go, I'll go. So, of course, when she don't get no answer, it's obvious.
And she knew
something's up.
Exactly.
So when the police arrived, there was a bunch of red flags for him. Chris's behavior was increasingly suspicious throughout the whole time they were talking to him. He went from cooperating to dodging questions left and right.
The craziest part, if you guys have watched any of the videos, at one point, one of the neighbors comes over and I think the police actually are the ones that noticed that there was cameras on the neighbor's house. And so they go over there and the guy's like, you know what? I got the footage. He's like, it's really interesting because this is how crazy, this would be like us being a neighbor. I noticed he was leaving at an odd time and he never parks in the driveway, always parks on the street. So I went back and looked at the camera and he's like, this is all weird. He never does this. Well, he backed up in there for a reason. He was loading up 3 bodies, but that guy had it all on footage. Well, Chris Watts goes over to the neighbor's house with the police body footage camera. Dude's got his arms crossed, he's pacing back and forth because he's not sure what the fuck this camera picked up. You can tell he's acting like he doesn't know what happened to his family, but he's over here watching on this big screen of this neighbor's thinking in his head, what the fuck what did they catch me do?
Yeah, because we're all creatures of habit.
Yeah,
I mean, we do the same thing every day, the same way, whether we recognize it or not.
Yeah, and the neighbor knew. He said,
"Yeah,
dude." And then when douchebag walks outside to get fresh air, the neighbor looks at the policeman with the body camera and said, "He's acting weird. He never acts like this." And I think those red flags for the police officer right then and there, that's when it clicked. And they're like, he fucking knows something.
Yep.
And that's to me the big red flag there, the neighbor too. I mean, Nicole, but that footage and the oddness of Chris or the douchebag at that time.
Yeah,
so.
the officers of the law, of course, they might not know the exact thing, but they can pick up them red flags pretty quick by midst of talking to different people and this and that.
Yeah. I forgive me, Pino. Where are we at, brother?
Well, we're going to look at, on August 13th.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So that was in the early mornings. It was around 2-ish in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 1:48, 2 o'clock,
okay.
somewhere around there.
Shannon had actually posted on Facebook, but then she vanishes, right? Nothing else.
Yeah.
Her friend reported her missing later that morning when Chris claimed he hadn't seen her, since the time that she had, left for work, like a normal day. Like, I leave for work, good night, goodbye, or good morning, see you later.
Yeah. But love you, bye.
The routine was fucked up, man.
Yeah. And, 1:48, 2 o'clock, that's, real close to the time she had gotten home.
Yeah. Right.
Her friend dropped her off. But, the police quickly became, in their investigation and searching the Watts' house and surrounding areas. The douchebag, Chris, aka douchebag,
yep,
emotionally pleads for help where, broadcasting on news channels.
I actually I did clip a piece of that. I'd like to play it. What's the bottom right pink one say, Levi? Click that and see. I think that's the news one.
Like, just not trying to too much.
This is it. He's being interviewed on his front
Chris
porch.
Watts, WATTS. What's going on right now at your house? Right now, it's got K9 units, it's the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, and see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, they went somewhere. And right now, it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened?
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like, I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say, but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like, she's not getting back to her. Like, she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like, she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home, and then walked in the house, and nothing. It's vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nope, nobody was here.
Children's name?
Shanann, SHANANN.
What's your kids?
Bella and Celeste.
And Celeste.
CELESTE.
How old are you?
4, and Bella's 4, Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, what's going on. Like, after I called her and texted her once, it's like, maybe she was just busy. Like, she had just gotten back, like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now, I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she have just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like, I want them back now. Like, that's what's in my head. Like, if they're safe right now, they're going to come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like, if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just get ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it did.
Yeah, and that was just one of the news channel broadcasts as of many other ones. But after hearing some of this and the way he's reacting and the way he's talking, many people that knew and all this felt something was just off.
Yeah. I think you even listened to that little interview on his front porch, or you can feel it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of all over the place, beat around the bush type.
And if you notice some of the words that he chooses to use during this interview on the porch, is about the past. Like they're
everything's past 10.
yeah, you can't really find them, right? Because and bring them home because they're not alive. He knows that subconsciously. He's folding his arms like this. He's trying to protect himself from the outside. He's trying to stay guarded, dude.
And most normal people won't talk in past tense.
No, absolutely not.
They're actively looking.
Here's the other thing. I got 4 babies and a wife that I love dearly more than anything in this world. I believe God created her for me. And that's where I find my happiness, my solace, and my everything I want. If you take that from me and I don't know where you're at, could you imagine me doing an interview on the front porch? You wouldn't be able to understand me.
I mean, even if you're in a bad spot with your spouse, your kids are your kids, you still
it
never changes.
And it doesn't. I know they were in a bad spot. I've been in bad spots with my wife. I've had disagreements. If she just up and disappears,
right?
I mean, you at least be like, where the hell's my kid?
Yeah, like you're not going to sit on your porch and do a interview without shedding a fucking tear,
or I mean, showing an emotion. His vocabulary, his tone never changes.
Right.
It's just
right. And you wonder to yourself, was he preparing himself? Was he ready to do this? You look at, past killers that have been interviewed. We did the Lacey Peterson case. And you hear, I forget his name now, Scott Peterson, and his interviews and how he's,
douchebag number two,
who I think is also innocent as well. But Chris Watts clearly not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see him try to safeguard himself, but yet, Dylan, I know you said we were talking about when we muted there. We were talking about you said but this case really intensifies about when it comes to the polygraph test.
Well, yeah. So the police really weren't messing around with this because of all the suspicious activity.
Yeah.
And normally you don't see someone in his case getting polygraphed so soon.
Right. And who would do it?
He failed that polygraph, which he later claimed was due to his anxiety. He still maintained his innocence at this point.
And you can actually go and watch the polygraph. They video all this stuff has been videoed and audio recorded. You can go back and listen to it. And she comes in. She's a really pretty lady and gets him comfortable. And at the end of it, she looks at him and says, "Chris, you lied." And he's like, "Well, no, you lied."
We just played one interview, and that's not a tone of an anxious person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's because he's blaming that failed polygraph. And to be fair, you can't use those in the court of law. But somebody that thinks they can outsmart everyone else, which he is one of those guys, thinks I can sit here and do this, knowing that I fucking brutally murdered my wife, fucking brutally strangled and suffocated my children, shoved them in a fucking oil well. I'm smarter than you.
And so many people, think that, but on them polygraph tests, I mean, there's like 1 in a million that could even fool it, and they have extensive training.
Yeah. And even them, they can
slip up. Yes.
So, but eventually, guys, even after this polygraph test, they fail it. You can't use it in court, but guess what? You failed it. The police know you failed it. They're on your ass now at this point. They find it, that douchebag's inconsistencies was pretty hard to ignore. Of course, when you lie, you forget what you lie about, right? We all know some liars in our lives. They can't keep their story straight. And, they discovered surveillance footage of him loading up the truck, which I talk about, loading up that truck and what appears to be, the girl's belongings. And that's tough to read.
Yeah. And then, on August 16th, 2018, that's when they discovered the body of Shannon and her daughters. Shannon was, of course, buried in a shallow grave. And the girls, they were found in 2 oil tanks at the site where Chris worked at.
And that's so haunting. It devastated the whole community. There was a massive outpouring of grief, and people couldn't understand how a father could commit such acts.
And, we've had conversations about my babies, all of us, and we've talked about Dylan, you've said multiple times, if something happened with these babies, you'd be here. You're putting up arms. You're ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? And I know you too, Peanut. And so this is really fucking devastating.
Yeah.
To even realize that a dad could put a pillow over his wife, or not a pillow, put his hands around her neck. I think he said for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
because he didn't realize how much it took to end somebody's life with their hands around the neck. Well, you fucking douchebag. Like, what'd you think it was going to be?
Well,
Yeah.
I think in one of his interviews, he said he thought if you did it the right way, it would only take like 10 seconds.
Right.
Mm.
But it ends up being like 15 minutes because he even talks about how she was like, after 10 minutes of strangling, her, he thought he was done and he lets go and she's gasping. Then not only that, one of his daughters, Celeste, I believe it was, comes in and sees him doing this. He says, "What's wrong with mommy?" Guys, that's a father. What's he do? What does he do now? He takes his daughters to another room, puts a pillow over the face of Celeste until she can't breathe, while the other sister is begging, "Daddy, stop. Daddy, please stop. Why are you doing this?" What's daddy's response? Douchebag. What's douchebag's response? Let me kill my other daughter. But they have evidence though. Obviously we're going to get into I'm jumping a bit ahead, but okay. So after the discovery, no, I feel like we should share this. This is really shitty. And I feel like we got to share the whole story. I didn't think I wanted to add this part, but I'm going to. There's actually evidence that they were alive in the car to the oil site, and that they were alive when he shoved them down the oil rig.
Yeah, I was about to say the thing that I've been reading on. He admitted that he strangled them again in the truck.
Exactly, and then I think he thought they were dead. They were not. They're signed because there was oil inside their lungs. The only way oil is going to get in your lungs is if
You're
you're breathing.
I mean, that is a sick douchebag.
Are we on to the discovery of the bodies? Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah.
After the discovery of these bodies, these beautiful two babies and a beautiful wife, Chris was actually arrested. And during the interrogation, he was in it. Of course, he's a fucking douchebag, and douchebags do what they do best, right? They lie.
Yeah.
And so he initially denied any wrongdoing, but then confesses that he killed Shanann.
His confession, of course, his confession's chilling. He claimed he killed her in a fit of rage after she allegedly threatened to take the kids away. No. Notice he says after he threatens to take the kids away. He then smothered both Bella and I have a hard time pronouncing Celeste name. It's I'm sorry. It's hard to talk about. It's just shocking.
What he failed to tell them is she threatened to take the kids away. After that morning, he woke up and told her about the affair.
Yeah, I mean, he claimed
all the wrongdoings he was doing.
He was claiming to protect the kids
by smothering them.
That's what he's claiming.
I was saving my kid's life by putting a fucking pillow over him and killing him. Okay, we should write a letter to Chris Watts. I
don't think mine would make it past.
They probably wouldn't. Here, come the fuck on. You got you weren't protecting your children. I'm sorry to tell you, but you just weren't. You're being a douche.
I mean, the justification was deeply troubling. They tried to say it raised questions about his mental state. No, he's just a fucking douchebag that was
100%.
cheating.
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with his mental state. He was cheating on his wife. She threatened to take kids away, and he just killed her. And nothing to do with his mental state, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And what could lead to someone to justify such heinous acts against their own children and wife?
And we all know somebody that's full of shit all the fucking time, right? We all know somebody like that. And every time that, we know for people that are full of shit that don't fucking kill their 2 babies and their wives,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, a lot of people are like, dude, you actually bought you caught a 8-inch bluegill, but it was actually probably about 2.5 inches. Everybody knows that person.
When I fish, I caught one that big.
I didn't know you fished.
I used to.
Thought you were more into but anyway, but Chris's behavior during the interrogation was super alarming, and he showed little emotion. And I think that brings up the discussion, of your babies are dead, or sorry, your babies are missing, your wife's missing, and you show no emotion. I mean, I think that's going to lead any freaking person and interrogating him to probably be a little baffled by it, right? You're going to be a little baffled.
Exactly. I mean, it's a stark reminder of how, complex psychology can be. Some people commit terrible acts and still appear outwardly, normal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The confession and the details surrounding it left the community and the nation in shock. The psychological implications are profound.
The actual public, reaction was simply overwhelming. Social media was really big at this time, and it just completely exploded, with the opinions about Chris and the case. And what's crazy is I remember the day my wife showed me this case of this guy on the porch, and she's like, "What do you think?" I was like, "He seems like a douchebag."
Mm.
And that's just all there is to it. Like, how the fuck is your baby's missing and your wife's missing, and you're like talking completely fucking normal?
Like, if that was anyone
I can't even talk. Yeah.
They'd be so frantic you couldn't understand.
Dude, I can't even talk about my cremated dog that's in the box across the room without fucking crying, let alone my 3 kids he has 2 kids and a wife. Like,
yeah. Why ain't Panda on the table?
She's over there sleeping.
Okay.
But I'll say this again. The public reaction was super overwhelming. Many outlets focused on, the horror of the crime. But Peanut, we've had, many discussions, about how, I guess, Chris was kind of presenting himself.
Douchebag.
Yeah, douchebag. Sorry.
Yeah. He often seemed, as sympathetic figure in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the media coverage shifted dramatically as more details emerged. At first, they were trying to be like, Chris, how do you feel? What's going on? And everything. And then it was initially portrayed as a grieving husband and father. But as the truth came out, the narrative changed dramatically.
It's actually kind of fascinating to see how the public perception evolved. There was a mix of outrage and sympathy for Shannon and the girls, which sparked conversations about domestic violence and mental health. There's that mental health again. Every fucking week that we do a case, it's about mental health.
And not only, the reoccurrence of the mental health thing, it's also highlighting the role social media takes in shaping narratives.
Yeah.
I mean, mental health, social media, they kind of go hand in hand in these cases.
Yeah.
But there's also discussion about how douchebag presented himself. He often seemed, it was just weird. Let's just say that is weird. Shannon,
he was a fuckbag.
Yeah, she was, of course, in her pyramid type thing. She was extremely active on platforms like
big time Facebook.
And her life was, a lot of people are, active on this. And I mean, whether you're in a pyramid scheme of sales, podcasting like we are, we're put out there on social media. We're basically, we're putting ourselves on display.
To be fair, though, podcasting is not a pyramid scheme. We're just a bunch of morons
pyramid,
that
but
give
we
a lot of time through the week for free.
Okay? We put ourselves out there on display.
But what she was doing was like she was really big on social media because she was during a pyramid scheme. You get this person to buy in, then 10 other people. So she had a lot of followers on Instagram, Facebook, all of it.
Yeah, but I mean, Where basically what I'm trying to say is, we put ourselves out there on display. We put ourselves out there for America to see, this is us. This is how we are.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent,
Yeah.
Which made the tragedy even more impactful because so many people, saw her, knew her, dealt with her, and so on.
Right. And Chris ultimately end up accepting a plea deal, which I think, he's a piece of shit. Right.
Yep.
So he wanted to spare his life. So I'm sure they're sitting inside the interrogation room. They're like, Christopher, if you tell us what happened and where your babies are, we'll spare your life, and he's a fucking douche. So that's what they're going to do. Right. They're cowards. They don't want to they don't want to die. Why don't they want to die? Because he's going to fucking hell. He's going to burn in hell.
Yep.
All right. He's going to burn in hell. That's where he's destined to be. And he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on November 19th, 2018.
And during his sentencing, Shannon's family made a powerful statement about the impact of his actions. They were letting out heart-filled emotions, letting them know this is what you did to us.
Yep.
This is the impact you have on more people besides your victims.
Yep.
And, of course, with them expressing their emotions the way that, they probably needed to and the way they should just to, get the relief that they needed. It really filled the courtroom with emotions.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And Chris's behavior during the trial was very scrutinized. He seemed detached, which only fueled the public's outrage. But saying that, are you surprised by someone that is a cold-blooded murderer? They're always detached from normal society.
The trial and its aftermath raised a lot of significant questions about the justice system. I feel like we talk about this every case. Many felt that Chris's actions warranted the harshest punishment, but I think Gordon Schneiderman just said it in the comments that death penalty is an easy sentence. Well, it's not an easy sentence when you're going to burn in fucking hell, right? He can live, get 3 days, three. What are they? 3 meals in a cot, right? Or
3 hots in a cot.
3 hots in a cot. He knows you're going to get 3 hots in a cot after brutally fucking murdering his 2 baby girls and his wife. He fucking knows. If I admit it right now, they said I won't get the death penalty. He knows where he's headed. I don't give a shit what he says in his prayers. He's burning in hell.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And yeah, no, it's understandable. I understand it. I feel exactly the same way. And, and as in so many other cases that we have covered so far, and probably in many more that we are going to cover, it's has such a effect on domestic violence awareness. Again, domestic violence awareness plays a big role in just about every case we discuss.
It seems like it.
Organizations and advocates have used this tragedy to highlight, the important signs and recognitions of warning signs, as in every case we do. These groups have been pushing this and pushing this and pushing this, but it's like it keeps reoccurring, but people are failing to recognize the signs, the red flags,
and I think, let's take a quick moment to reflect on that, ongoing impact of this case. I mean, it has prompted discussions about mental health and the importance of, systems, support systems. Like, if something like this is happening in your life, they're trying to make avenues.
Absolutely. The tragedy of the Watts family, it's a reminder that things aren't always as they seem. We need to advocate for those who might be, I don't know, suffering in silence.
And I want to add, the fact that, like, you might see the family picture, right? Everyone goes and they spend the money on the family picture. You remember that back in the 90s, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
I'm a 90s baby.
Oh yeah.
But, or, I got some 80s babies in here and shit. But you remember you got together with your family, you put on the fucking button up shirt, the slacks, the nice shoes, bullshitted with your mom because you were pissed that you had to wear something you never would wear. Take the fucking picture, even though, you're fucking grounded from the pager. You're not going to be allowed to get on an on AIM and, but in the family picture, it looks amazing. It's so much easier now because there's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of these different things that they can get on now. And it's like, first off, who videos an argument with their wife and posts it on Facebook? The only thing you're seeing on Facebook, it's a disease. I mean, social media is a fucking disease because you know what? If I look at this person's picture and I see their weight loss, I got to post a picture about this because I want to make sure that I'm feeling good. Or if I see their family of 6 happy, why are they always fucking happy? Are they? They're portraying that. And that's what we're seeing here today.
Exactly.
What we're seeing on this.
5 minutes before that picture's taken, Dad's sitting there saying to the toddlers, now you better straighten the hell up and act like somebody.
If you don't fucking smile,
for
I'm beating your ass.
Don't make
your ass.
Don't make me get out of here after you made an ass out of myself.
Okay.
No,
because
you're getting a
if you saw Dylan's silent slideshow earlier, because no comment, Levi, listen. You see Chris Watts put his hands around his 2 daughters, smile. Great family picture. If you didn't know about this case and you looked at that picture, Dylan, you saw a happy family.
Exactly.
It's fucking disgusting. Social media should be outlawed, dude. It's fucking terrible. I don't even remember where we was. It's my bad because I seriously look at this case at, like, you go back and look at Shanann's Facebook, Instagram, her MySpace, all these different things, and you see how happy she was and how, but what was the underlining? What were those? You just said it, Peanut, those warning signs.
Exactly.
And we have to take a moment to, again, I said it once, I'm going to say it again, to reflect on the ongoing impact that this case made in 2017? 2018. We have to go back and look at this. Like, just because your friend's smiling on a picture doesn't mean her old man ain't beating the fuck out of her.
Exactly. And Dylan, you're talking about, this case sparking conversation.
Well, you guys just hit on that to a T. Like, the way it looked to the media, Shannon was devoted mother and Chris was criminalized.
Yeah. And I think the essential thing to remember is the fact there's victims here. And there are stories, right? There's victims and there's stories. There's douchebags that are rotting in fucking prison, right? But Shannon's legacy continues through the awareness that this case can raise. And we don't, dude, I went to go listen to the different podcasts. All they do is they blah, 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 tell the fucking story. You need to tell more than the fucking story because they're dead now. 2 little girls and a wife, dead. Now you have to speak for them.
Well,
you have to.
And a unborn child.
And an unborn fucking child.
Yes.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yes.
Many
people don't realize that's a living soul.
I don't know what that means, Gordon. You're gonna have to elaborate.
He's being a douche.
He's being a douche right now. But at the end of the day, guys, when I started writing this, all I wanted to talk about was how could this been prevented? Right? When I'm writing this case and I'm struggling, I spent 6 hours. I didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. last night because I wasn't happy with the writings of this case. Because I'm like, why did 2 babies have to die and a wife? Why? Is it because Chris Watts was trying to live behind this perfect picture of a family, but he had hormones and a pretty lady at work that wanted to fuck him? Well, guess what? You could just go home and say, you fucked up. I fucked up. I have a girlfriend. Either love me or divorce me and move on.
Exactly.
Why did you have to? In his mindset, he's thinking to himself, well, I'm fucking somebody. I should probably take my family out. Might make things easier because I could probably outsmart no, you can't outsmart anybody because you're clearly dumb as fuck.
Well, Sturge, let's our
Sorry.
pairing tonight was kind of unexpected, but
Ass.
it completely pairs with this case.
Yeah, that was terrible. And the people that created that whiskey should never create it. Just like anyone that has sex and has a child like douchebag here should never ever do it again. Because what a terrible person! What a terrible they remind me of Walking Dead whiskey. Terrible. I mean, fucking terrible. And again, it's not about douchebag. It's not about Chris Watts. It's about Celeste. It's about who's the other daughter? I'm sorry. You fuckers.
The names kill me. I'm horrible with names, perfect for patience.
Bella, thank you.
Bella.
Fred, we're going to get Fred in here. We're going to do a little after hour too.
Yeah.
But we're not going to and I even told Dylan this earlier. I was like, I hate that when I cover the cases, I mention the fucking perv that makes these things happen. I want to talk about Bella. I want to talk about Celeste. I want to talk about Shanann. I don't want to talk about douchebags. But it's super hard because you want to share the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But unfortunately, we can't, with the media and that, they go so much on this story and not the life of the victims.
I think what we need to do now.
This whiskey actually
let's
encourage
talk
the
whiskey.
reflections.
Yeah, I think
it's
you're
shitty.
Yeah,
I think
why
you're
we
headed.
decided to drink it.
I think now that I think we should transition into something else before I get us booted off of here because I want to know how many people take real pictures. I want to know how many people take real pictures of what was it like to live in the 70s? I'd like to know because can you guys even watch a movie on the date now? I don't know what the dating life is, but I can tell you what my living room looks like during a movie night. My wife's on her phone. I'm on my phone watching a fucking movie. Like I go change the channel. So I'm watching that. I don't think you were. And we get an argument, right?
Yeah, but it's always a movie they've seen 100 times.
Let me video this so I can put it on Facebook.
It's always a movie they've seen 100 times, so they know exactly where they are.
That's not what I'm getting at, though. That's not what I'm getting at. What is the picture that you see on Facebook during movie night? Me and my babe eating popcorn, watching a fucking movie that we absolutely love, babe time. But before you took that picture, you're like, why the fuck? Bad fucking angle.
Why do you think they say cheese before a picture instead of be real?
I know, but it is. That's a good point. It's so fucking sad. But let's discuss what we're sipping on tonight on today's episode. Giving the heavy nature of the topic, I suggest something kind of rich, complex bourbon, something like Woodford Reserve, which I got over here. I'd like to get it. I'd like to crack a bottle of Woodford.
But let's crack the bottle.
I forgot you can go ahead.
Let's crack the bottle.
Fuck you, Chris Watts. I hope you fucking hear this. And I also hope when you go to sleep tonight, you die in your fucking sleep.
Let's crack.
And then I hope you're tortured by a bunch of fucking demons.
We're going on and on.
I fucked it.
Right. You're into it. Let's crack the bottle and
all
the
these
thoughts
other
of
podcasts,
the kids and the wife.
But all the other podcasts,
we already had.
I can't even finish this
right here.
I wouldn't give that to any human.
Yeah.
I'd actually let Christian at it.
I think
I can't even do this.
I don't even know if I even want to
can I ask one question? Everyone's like, when I listened to 40 hours of podcasts this week about this fucking case. And what really was frustrating was everyone's just telling the story of what Chris Watts did. And I'm writing it and I'm thinking to myself, I'm judging these people that write these podcasts. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing the same fucking thing. I am doing the same thing that this bitch wants. This bitch wants us, and now I'm like sip and solve. We got to figure something else out, like unsolved cases or something, because these fuckheads that we're talking about every week, the guy that the Mandalay Bay, what do you think he wanted? He wanted people to do podcasts on him, and we're fucking doing it.
Well,
we're fucking doing it.
The Sturge, let's but instead of focusing so much on our victims, let's work towards remembering our victims, awareness on mental health, domestic violence. No, we want to encourage our listeners to share their thoughts on social media. What do you think about this douchebag, people? followers.
No. I agree with Sturge there. Fuck this douchebag. Quit putting his name in the media. Quit putting it on Cass. Quit putting it on social media. Like, fuck this guy.
Well, let's
If you
encourage
stop-
our people to share our thoughts about
If you stop
the
talking about him,
girls.
what's he have?
Nothing.
But we want to talk about the victims.
Yes.
We want to bring the victims into it. Let's shift our focus on the victims
Hey,
and
Chris,
how we can
Chris Watts.
douchebag. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get us a better situation next time. Until next time, let's stay safe and drink responsibly like us. I got a chauffeur.
Yep.
But however, let's kind of shift gears here to something more lighter here. We happen to have Fred here with us today.
Well, let's end this one.
Yep, we're shifting. We're shifting. We're going to have Fred here and have a drink with us. And, of course, when Fred's here, the real shit show begins.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Let's start a new one with Burnout Winery, Fred.
Yes, let's do it.
But
Let's do it.
Sturge said no, we're going to drink.
Let's get rid of this douchebag. Let's make an executive decision without Sturge. Let's get rid of this, sip and solve douchebag. Let's bring the wives in here. We got Fred here. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a drink to end it.
I did not know
We're
she
going
was
to have
pregnant.
a good cheers to Celeste, Bella, and Shanann real quick before.
Celeste, Bella, and Shanann. Let's do it. We got the good Woodford Reserve. He's opening it up
This
here.
is a good bottle. This is actually from the Kentucky Derby place. What's that called?
What is Shiloh? Is it Shiloh Downs?
Shadow Downs?
Yeah, something like that.
Fuck you, Chris Watts. You're a
Yep.
douche.
We drank your Chris.
Anybody that can
douchebag,
murder
we
their
drank your
fucking
nasty
family, dude,
shit.
Anybody that can murder their fucking family like that, I
We-
hope they fucking
We drank
rot in
Chris's
They deserve
nasty
the worst.
shit.
hell. I hope
Let's,
the devil rapes you in your ass. You
let's
dick.
drink to Shannon and the kids.
We're gonna end this one here after this pour. Bubba, you gotta take that quick shot.
Yeah, I'm
can't-
working on it.
Thank you.
Dude, it's so bad.
Take them up for the team.
This is gonna be delicious.
That was a great shot.
Chaser.
All right, so this, guys, I appreciate you tuning in to Sip and Solve tonight. It got a little violent because I'm tired of fucking talking about douchebags. We need to start making aware of the victims of these cases. We need to tell the story, but from now on, I promise you, I will never use the actual person's name. We will tell the story by giving them a fucking nickname.
Exactly.
And tonight, this pour right here, from American Whiskey to your house, everywhere else. This is for Shanann, Bella, and Celeste.
In the words of Forrest Gump, I gotta pee.
As always, I'm Big Sturge.
Justice League,
And I'm the peanut.
And we'll be back in 10 minutes. And we are
American
American whiskey.